And Kenya tourism sector hopes still hanging on a loose thread after it remains in UK's travel red list 8 months later. Right, trend with me for the next few minutes. Nancy Nalima here, and the hashtag is trending news right here on Look Up TV, at Look Up TV on Twitter, Look Up TV on Facebook, and the SMS number that you can use to connect with me is 20374. Let's begin the bulletin. As today marks the International Day of the Victims of Enforced Disappearances, activists have held demonstrations demanding for over 200 missing Kenyans gone without a trace in the hands of police officers.
According to Missing Voice data, Kenya has recorded 227 cases of enforced disappearance from 2017 to date. This was released today as Kenya marks the International Day of the Victims of Enforced Disappearance, which is celebrated every 30th of August. The data indicates that 167 people have been killed by the police or disappeared in 2020. During their demonstrations in Mombasa today, activists say that people's disappearance is a crime against humanity, whether dead or alive. The Missing Voices data also states that Kenya has recorded 113 cases of enforced disappearances from January to July 31st. 5 of the victims were found dead with marks of torture, while 8 are still missing. The data indicates that 167 people have been killed by police or disappeared in 2020. Out of this, 157 were as a result of police killings and 10 disappeared in police custody. And of all cases identified, only 28 have been charged with a crime for these cases. The activists in Mombasa were dressed in black t-shirts and hats as they demanded justice, with the hats written the names of those Kenyans who have disappeared, including security analyst Mwenda Mbijiwe. Mbijiwe was reported missing in June this year, and he has not been found up to date. Haki Africa CEO Khalid Hussein said the security agencies are the ones breaking the law. Hussein also said that this behavior of people disappearing should stop, as this year alone 26 people have disappeared and cannot be traced, and also added that the security agencies should not be the first to break the law, and those who are arrested and disappear are in many cases the breadwinners of their families, pleading with the United Nations to intervene. David Kasembeli, Look Up TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Kasembele, for that report. It is indeed a sad state of affairs, very traumatic experience for friends and loved ones of people who've gone missing. Are they dead? Are they alive? We hope justice will prevail. And moving on, one person has died after a heap of soil collapsed into a trench in Kenderi area, Kirinyaga County. The rescue operation is still ongoing, and 4 people have been rescued so far. The accident happened when a heap of soil on the said trench collapsed and covered the 6 workers who were digging the trench. The four rescued after police, civilians and county officials rushed to the site to help. Look Up TV will provide the details as they develop. And moving on, former Likoni MP Khalid Salem Mwavumo has died. Mwavumo was a member of parliament for Likoni between 1992 and 1997, which he won on a Ford Kenya ticket. The politician, who lost the second term in 1997 general elections, made headlines in 2015 when his wife went missing during a Hajj visit to Saudi Arabia. His death has been confirmed by Mombasa businessman Suleiman Shabal.
The former member of parliament died this morning, and his death was announced by Mombasa businessman and politician Suleiman Shabal. While announcing his death, Shabal celebrated Salim Mwavumo as his political father figure who mentored and taught him when he joined politics many years ago. Mwavumo was also the leader of the Likoni Wamiji Council of Elders, was born and raised in Mombasa and was loved by many as a true and selfless leader. He served as a member of parliament for Likoni from 1992 to the year 1997. Before that, he had served as a councillor in the now-defunct Municipal Council of Mombasa in the early 1960s. The famed politician took office after Abdul Kadir Abdal Muidau of Kano after he was elected in 1992. He won the seat on a Ford Kenya ticket. He, however, turned out to be a one-term politician after he lost the election to Rashid Suleiman Shakombo. In 1997 general elections, Suleiman had clinched the seat on a Shirikisha party ticket. Mwavumo, who has been in the public eye for many years for his political prowess, made headlines in 2015 after his wife Zainab Mwavumo went missing in Saudi Arabia in what was reported as a Hajj stampede. Reports at the time indicated that 8 Kenyans had died in the tragedy. Mwavumo was an instrumental player in the shaping and molding of politics and leadership in the coastal region for a long time. Until his death, he was actively involved in mentorship of Waris Kimathi. Look Up TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Waris Kimathi, for that report. Now, Kenya will remain in the UK's travel red list following the latest updates on the international travel by Britain, dealing a blow to the tourism sector that has been banking on lifting the restrictions to boost the ailing industry. The UK last week made some amendments on the countries in red, amber and green list, with Kenya remaining on the red list 8 months later since it was first placed there.
Kenya will remain in the UK's travel red list following the latest updates to international travel by Britain, dealing a blow to the tourism sector that has been banking on lifting of restrictions to boost the ailing industry. The UK last week made some amendments on the countries in red, amber and green list, with Kenya remaining on the red list 8 months later since it was placed there. The United Kingdom on Sunday last week removed several countries from a COVID-19 list, but again kept Kenya in the category of high-risk nations whose travelers are subject to strict requirements. The tourism sector normally depends on summer travel from Europe and America, a season in which they make a lot of money due to high numbers of visitors between June and September. There were high hopes from stakeholders in the industry that Kenya would be upgraded from red list to amber on the back of recent visits by President Uhuru Kenyatta to the UK. In April this year, Kenya protested the decision, but the UK stood its grounds and retained her on the list. Failure to upgrade Kenya to the amber list will see Britain abandon a trip to the country to avoid being slapped with a huge bail on return, as all the returning citizens from red countries are required to isolate for 10 days. The UK has seemingly resolved to calm the storm by dangling partnerships, selling vaccine donations, which landed in Nairobi last month, promising to help Kenya fight the pandemic by collaborating in research and genomic sequencing at Kemri. The tourism industry has lost 80 billion shillings in the first 6 months of last year as the country grappled with the effects of the COVID-19, which saw countries close their airspace. 3.6 million different doses of COVID-19 have been received, with the 2.7 million people having been vaccinated. Bernard Gavoli, Look Up TV, Nairobi.
And that story by Barnett takes us to our very fast break. But David Cassis says the trending news is indeed trending. I love the bulletin, watching live from Lavington. Thank you, David. We are working around the clock to ensure that we give you fresh stories that are happening at this moment. And as we're doing that, we look trendy while doing it. We take a very short break. Don't go too far.
Grow your business, broadcast your sermon, share birthday wishes, make funeral announcements, produce adverts and documentaries, then book and advertise with us today by calling us on +254 700 893 542
700 893 542
or email us on sales@luke-up.tv.
Lime inu, lime inu. Many of your problems, you, and I mean you, must pray for them. It is only in the place of prayer where you establish a relationship between you and God, because there are battles you must fight. Mpendwa, kuna vita zinakugojea upigane, na usipopigana utapigwa. You either fight or you will be fought. Kama unaweza kaa kwa Mungu abadilishe what you think about money. What you think about money is not what the Bible says about money. Wewe hujui hivyo. Kilio kingine unalia hapo. Shida zingine zimekufuata tabia uzaliwe. Ungetafuta dhabihu nzuri, uombe nayo mbele ya Mungu. Hiyo shida ingeenda haraka, ingeenda asubuhi.
Neno la Hekma with Pastor Ruben Thuo. Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. only on Look Up TV. Property Guide in association with
Planning on taking a mortgage? Before you apply for a mortgage, it's a good idea to review your credit report to make any corrections or work on improving your credit. You should also review all the expenses of home ownership and plan your budget accordingly. Finally, compare all your mortgage options in terms of rate, loan term, and type to find the right one for you.
Property Guide in association with
Welcome to Look Up Guest House, Retreat and Prayer Center. When you first come in, we will be happy to receive you at our reception, then proceed to our cozy and well-equipped accommodation facilities. We aim to provide our guests with a unique, comfortable and worthwhile experience. Here at Look Up Guest House, we provide our guests with a continuous supply of room amenities. A cool environment for all your retreat activities.
Look Up Guest House, Retreat and Prayer Center. For reservation, contact us on info@lookupguesthouse.org or call us on 0746 788 707. Like, follow, subscribe, click the notification button. Join the Look Up TV movement now.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with Look Up TV. The hashtag is trending news. Nancy Nalima here. Trend with me for the next few minutes as I will be keeping you up to date with stories that are making headlines at this hour. Let's continue. The Kenya Revenue Authority has unveiled its grand plan to buy 31.19 million shillings intelligence gathering system that is meant to curb tax evasions. This comes at a time the taxman is upgrading efforts to seal tax leakages and meet revenue targets by betting on intensified intelligence gathering to crack down at tax cheats and bring more individuals and firms into the tax bracket.
As the Kenya Revenue Authority continues its war on tax evasion, the company revealed that it is set to buy a 31.19 million shillings intelligence gathering system. During its annual procurement plan for the year to June, KRA Commissioner General Gideon Mburu announced that their revenue mobilization will focus on the implementation of the tax-based expansion program, data-driven compliance, and robust and utilization. The KRA has in recent months ramped up the fight on tax cheats and rolled an amnesty program that has seen the taxman identify an estimated 259 billion shillings in the hands of tax cheats. This revelation led to businesses as from last year being forced to install new electronic tax registers that are connected to the KRA systems for monitoring daily sales, escalating the war on tax cheats. The taxman has since then flagged businesses for filing fictitious value-added tax invoices to evade paying taxes and faking invoices to inflate purchases of inputs in a bid to cut their VAT obligations. The taxman in January rolled a 3-year program that will see businesses and individuals get up to 100% relief on interest and penalties on taxes that have not been paid in the last 5 years. The taxman in January rolled a 3-year program that will see businesses and individuals get up to 100% relief on interest and penalties on taxes that have not been paid in the last 5 years. This comes at a time when businesses and individuals suspected of tax evasion will apply for relief on penalties through the iTax portal as the Kenya Revenue Authority eases the application process and ropes in more taxpayers. The taxman has now automated the amnesty program, which is a 3-year program in which the KRA has offered up to 100% interest and penalties waiver on taxes that have not been paid in 5 years. For the past 7 months, taxpayers have been manually applying for the amnesty. The KRA said the tedious process has slowed down the effort to process a large number of applicants. There has been a lot of improvement with intelligence increasingly being used to catch tax frauds with several billions recovered in the process. The cooperation with multi-agency team formed by the President Uhuru Kenyatta and effective strategy implementation helped KRA in one of its most difficult revenue collection periods in history, the COVID-19 pandemic. Brenda Moshumbe, Lookup TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mashumbe Brenda, for that report. Now, University's Academic Staff Union, UASU, has suspended the national strike that was slated to kick off today, which would have paralyzed 35 public universities. According to the union's National Secretary General, Constantine Wasonga, the union has decided to suspend the industrial action to allow for more talks with government representatives.
The reason why we are giving the strike notice is because IPCCF and the government are in contempt of court. On 15th January 2021, the Employment and Labor Relations Court ruled that the 2017
And moving on, the Meteorological Department has today announced that dry weather conditions are expected across several parts of the country. In a forecast this morning, the Meteorological Department said 21 counties will receive showers and a bit of rain. These counties are West Pokot, Kitale, Eldoret, Kakamega, Bungoma, Nakuru, Naivasha, Kericho, among others. The rest of the country is likely to be generally dry through occasional rainfall is expected over some parts of the South and Central Rift Valley, the Northwest, the Highlands, east of the Rift Valley, and the coast. There is, however, a predicted dry spell ahead, and the Met Department advising Kenyans to take advantage of the short rains. Right, and now we move on to the boundaries across Africa and the rest of the world. Newly elected Zambian President Hichilema Hakainde has fired the army, police officers and all police commanders with immediate effect. This comes barely a week of him being appointed into office. Tracy Mbide with these and more in our international roundup.
Newly elected Zambian President Hichilema has fired the army, police officers and all police commanders with immediate effect. This comes barely a week of him being appointed into office. Mr. Remy Kajoba has been appointed as the new Inspector General of Police, and his operations deputy is Mr. Milner Muyambango. Doris Chimbonge is the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of administration. These changes were made after he appointed a new finance minister in line with his new policies. President Hichilema made these changes a week after being sworn in as president. He also made these changes because of the pressure he has to revive the economy, as Zambia's economy has been dwindling in the past 5 years. This sets an example for other African countries, especially Kenya, as we head to the 2022 general elections. Elsewhere, the Tigray war in Ethiopia continues as Ethiopia's economy continues to cripple. The war that has been ongoing since November last year has incurred a huge economic cost that will take years to repair. Tigray has been without basic services, including telecommunications and banks, since the federal government instigated a blockade on it in June after the rebels recaptured the regional capital, Mekelle. Aid distribution has been stopped and electricity and fuel supplies are diminishing, pushing prices up. According to some of the residents in Mekelle, and I quote, "Food and rent have recently skyrocketed." According to researchers at Belgium's University of Ghent, at least 10,000 reported deaths and 230 massacres have occurred. And finally, according to a US official, about 5 rockets were fired at Kabul airport today, but were stopped before reaching their target. The source of the rockets is a civilian vehicle that was apparently used as an improvised platform to launch the rockets. No casualties have been reported. The US, however, has warned that more attacks are likely to happen ahead of tomorrow's evacuation deadline. The Taliban has said they will not extend the last day of evacuation, slated for tomorrow, the 31st of August. So far, more than 110,000 people have been evacuated. The US is continuing its final flights from the country. Tracy Mbithe, Look Up TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mbithe, for that story, and about time for us to go to the sporting world. Berlin FC from Garissa County were this year's under-19 champions of the annual Ligi Cup East Africa. The age group tournament attracted 46 teams across Kenya. Teams from Tanzania and Uganda couldn't participate this year due to the COVID-19. The tournament was graced by Harambee Stars head coach Jacob Ghost Mulee, who praised the Football Federation and the organizers of the tournament for realizing the importance of age group playing structures, play in football development.
It's very important in terms of identifying talent when it's still young. The biggest problem we have is sometimes we find talent, but they're already adults. So this is the Ligi Cup East Africa. It's been running for quite a while. Normally we have teams from Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, but unfortunately because of the COVID pandemic, we didn't have any teams from Tanzania and Uganda this time. But we had 46 teams from Kenya. This tournament is age group all the way from under 7 to under 19.
The age category in this tournament, and I want to thank really Ali Gindogo for organizing, or the organizers of the tournament, because this is where it starts. And I'm really inspired because I've seen with the federation today, we have an under 13 national team, under 15, under 17. That is the real triangle of development, and if we follow it through, I believe that Kenya will have the best players in the coming years. Today we have, yes, some of the top players, however they did not go through the ranks. We didn't have a system in the federation where we could sieve the under 13, 15 and age category. Now I am happy that federation has made everything in place.
Hey, vijana wamechangamuka all the way from Garissa ama Nilodwa. 1, 2, 3.
And that would come to the end of Trending News right here on Look Up TV. But at this moment, I will be reading what's trending across social and Twitter at this moment. And one of the trends right now trending is Jimmy Wanjigi. Now, this is the renowned businessman, billionaire, if you may, who is vying for presidency come next year, 2022 general elections on an ODM party ticket. He says he will beat ODM party leader Raila Odinga in the primaries. And he has been trending since yesterday when he appeared on a local television station here in Kenya. And Dr. Njenga Kagrugia says, I speak my mind on any issue and anywhere. And he says he stands no chance. Ras says Kenya is a capitalist nation. Everything is about profits. Jimmy Wanjigi's integrity is questionable, but his profit-first approach is truly suited to the society we have formed. Okay, and just to sample some of your thoughts, right there, Jimmy Wanjigi has been trending since yesterday. And he has launched his bid. He's ready to become president come next year's general elections. And he says that he started my garbage collection business without a penny. So Nebaveli says, after listening to Jimmy Wanjigi yesterday, I said I'd start collecting garbage. Nione if nitafunguka kama yeye. I bought bags za kuweka takataka leo, then nikakumbuka I need to buy a lorry and that would be expensive. So people trying to make fun about how Jimmy Wanjigi became a billionaire. He first started by collecting garbage. A lot of people putting that in question. And the current leadership cannot ensure economic prosperity. That's what Jimmy Wanjigi said, and that it's time to phase out the fossils and bring in new blood. Possibly him. That's what he says. And just to sample one last tweet there, of course, Dr. Miguna says, fact-checking, Pablo Escobar, Jimmy Wanjigi. Wow. And Richard Nyamanche says, when he reads the book Treason by Miguna, then he gets to understand crystal clear who Jimmy Wanjigi is. Tycoon Jimmy Wanjigi's gold-themed living room has a royalty feel to it. We were just describing the photos there from the interview that he did yesterday. And that's about it right here on Trending News. That's what's trending at this hour. I am Nancy Nalima on Lookup TV. Continue watching Lookup TV for our subsequent bulletins and our very great programming. At 7 p.m. Tarifa with Lamek Aungo, and of course 9 p.m. Bottom Line KE with Eugene Anangwe. Do have yourselves a pleasant evening.
We value your feedback and welcome your complaints about our programming and operations. Feel free to get in touch with us through 0700 893 542 or send us an email to views@look-up.tv. We can't wait to hear from you.